You know what I like? Learning. I tend to go through periods of extreme hyperfixation where I try to just absorb all I can about a chosen topic, even if I don't plan on using it for anything practical, or profitable, I guess I should say. Really, I just love learning new skills or software or things because it's fun for me. It gives me something to do, and sometimes it can just lead to making something fun. It's important to remember you don't have to just jump right into monetizing your skills. Take some time to just be selfish and create things because you want to make them. Or keep that up when you're starting to monetize things, because God knows you need something that is yours and yours alone. I also just love the excuse to share stuff that I learn with others, so while this information is definitely available in plenty of other places elsewhere, and also on this website if you feel like looking it up, I just feel like the more people putting info out there for free for others to use as they see fit, the better. So I wanted to try making a series on an art that I kind of feel is starting to be lost a little bit, and that's building your own website. Yes, I'm aware that there are plenty of services out there like Wix and Squarespace that gives you an easy option for making a responsive site, but they're businesses. And so making something that feels really personal and really reflects you as a person rather than just a by-the-numbers business site is pretty difficult, even if you are paying monthly to unlock all of the features that they tout. Don't get me wrong, building a site with HTML and CSS might not translate into something that these services can make quite as easily, but it does lend a much more personal touch, and I find writing out lines of tags and code to be very enjoyable, as tweaking and altering them to get exactly what I want is its own reward as far as I'm concerned. So I want to give some quick primers on building your own sites. This isn't going to be based around completing a project or making something over the course of many lessons. Instead, I'll just provide some advice on tools, lay out the basics, and then go into detail on what each element does, and maybe give some tips on doing things specifically once you know everything that you need to know. So these are going to be a bit less like tutorials and more like reference material, but I do hope that someone out there gets some use out of them. As time goes on, I plan on doing this with other things, probably software most of all, so I hope you'll all look forward to that as well. We're going to start by learning HTML, because here's the really big secret, kids. HTML is surprisingly simple to learn because it isn't really a programming language, it's a structural language. The tags are rigid and hard set, and they don't have as rigid a syntax as other programming languages. They are basically just made to give the text and images of a website a very, very basic skeleton. It's things like CSS and JavaScript that really add flair to your website, but you have to understand the basics of a body before you can start playing dress up. So let's do that. Let's learn some HTML. Or hypertext markup language if you're allergic to acronyms, and see just how far building a website has come since the late 1990s when I was first learning how to do this out of an old For Dummies book on the subject. I'm going to do my best to keep these videos short and bite-sized so that they're easy to both reference and digest, but since this is the introduction, I figured we'd also take this opportunity to go over what you need in order to design a website. So here are the tools you need. A word processor. That's it. That's all you need. You can be a bit fancier with it if you want, but when it comes down to it, you can write and edit HTML and CSS in any basic word processor, even the old, reliable Notepad app. I would recommend using something like VS Code, or even better, VS Codium, however, because these programs are made for writing code, and therefore are better at keeping your code organized. A regular Notepad file will work, it's just very basic plain text after all, but not if your pages are going to be very large or long. Smaller or shorter pages are much more manageable on basic word processors. You'll also want to make sure that you have a good place to put all of your pages, as HTML files that all link to one another should be kept in the same folder for convenience's sake. Next, create a basic text document in that folder and call it index.html. This will be your home page or your landing page for your site. You can also go ahead and create any other HTML files that you want and give them names for pages you plan on making. You can fill them out on your own time, but this can give you an idea of the structure of your site, the high-level pages that you want everyone to be able to navigate to. After that, you can start up your program of choice, go to the file, open and navigate to where you saved that original index file, and open it up. If you're using a program like VS Code or Codium, you can choose to open the entire folder at once, which will populate the sidebar with a list of all the other folders and files in said folder, allowing you to easily open multiple files at once and bounce between them as you desire, which can be handy later on when you're copying and pasting similar elements from one page to the next. One last thing before we start. Another reason to use something like VS Code or Codium when working on projects like these is the ability to see the changes to your work as you are working. Both of these programs allow you to download a bunch of extensions, one of which is Live Server, or Five Server, either of these will work, which you can activate automatically, update the web page in a browser in real time to show off any changes that you make as you make them, which is a lot better than having to save, manually open the file in a web browser tab, check the changes, and then refresh every time you tweak it. It's a helpful workflow thing mostly, but if you prefer to work slightly slower, alt-tabbing to different windows to make them refresh, well, that works too, whatever you're most comfortable with. And that about wraps up the introduction. We'll move on to the basic structure of an HTML document next time. I hope to see you all there, and I hope someone out there finds this series useful. Until then, keep circulating the links, and I'll see you all next time.